been talking a lot about infrastructure, and now it sounds like we might be getting pretty close to this. Now, if you're like me, you may be somebody who is looking at all of the other spending bills, like $900 billion here, another trillion over there. I can't even keep count anymore. But we have been spending money over the last 2 years or so in this country to respond to the coronavirus, hand over fist. And when it looked like sort of the country was emerging from this, many people were expecting a lot of the spending and the infrastructure to stop. That has not been the case. In fact, it sort of escalated. And Joe Biden sort of been struggling on some other policy issues like immigration and the G7 and like the teleprompter and things like that. Difficult. But he's also now moving forward with some infrastructure progress. So we've got two things to talk about in the infrastructure category. One, not so good, about the eviction ban, which is now ending at the end of this month, and the Biden administration is scrambling to get this thing solved. So that's kind of not good. But then Biden is moving forward, if you're pro-Biden and pro-infrastructure. Sounds like he's got a bipartisan agreement with a bunch of senators who are also in alignment to continue to spend America into oblivion. So we're going to start off, get the bad news out of the way if you're pro-Biden. The evictions thing is problematic. Now, Bloomberg is telling us that Biden suddenly is urging an extension of the eviction ban, and only days before it ends, right? Only days before it ends. This came out July 29th by Nancy Cook over at Bloomberg. It says President Joe Biden urged Congress to extend a moratorium on home evictions just 2 days before it's set to expire, after the pandemic took a turn for the worse and economic growth in the second quarter missed forecasts, right? And so when I first read this headline, I was thinking, well, did he just forget about evictions expiring at the end of this month? It's 2 days and he's going to Congress. Look at these subheadlines here. 7.4 million Americans are behind on rent, according to the Census Bureau. Supreme Court previously limited Biden's ability to impose moratorium on the evictions. So you're thinking, okay, if you're the president and you know that at the end of the month, 7.4 million people who are behind on rent are going to have eviction proceedings started against them or their families, that you would be a little bit ahead of the game. You wouldn't actually be, 2 days before the eviction things, scrambles go, oh, shoot, is that Friday? Are you serious? Get Nancy on the phone. I totally forgot about that. Is there anything we can do? Can they ship it priority? So he goes to Congress now. Now, the real reason, right, might be because economic growth is terrible in the second quarter, missed forecast. So now he's saying, oh, well, if it would have been great, then we could have kicked all those people out. But it's not great. So I guess we're going to need an extension. President calls on Congress to extend the eviction moratorium to protect vulnerable renters and their families. Biden also asked the Department of Housing and Urban Development to extend the eviction through the end of September. Living in federally assured houses, right? In recent days, Democratic lawmakers and housing advocates have called for extending the moratorium beyond July 21, but it isn't clear that Congress can act in time, even if there's enough political support for an extension. Last minute scrambling, 7.4 million people. Congress is now doing cartwheels to try to get something done. Here's a guess: they won't. So not a big positive there for those 7.4 million families who have been incentivized to rely on the government. The government has just been, here you go, here, take some more, here, take some more, here, take some more. And then suddenly, oh, we're taking that all back. And then 2 days before, they say, oh, well, we're going to ask for an extension. That's not going to get done. So more uselessness from the federal government that's causing people more hardship than they would have experienced had the government not got involved in the first place and not imposed all these lockdowns and business-wrecking policies. Okay, but if you are pro-Biden now and you're very excited about spending another $1 trillion, today's a good day for you. You're pretty excited about this because there is a bipartisan infrastructure plan that is now coming to agreement. The Senate voted 67-32 on Wednesday to begin debate on the roughly $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan, 57-page summary, so we're going to look at it. $550 billion in new federal investments over 5 years. $2.2 trillion proposal was what Joe Biden wanted. Unveiled that in March. That was called the American Jobs Plan, money for roads and all of that other stuff, but he's only going to get $1 trillion. Still happy with that. Says still makes key investments to put people to work all across the country. All right, so let's take a look at the summary. This is the summary sheet. Biden Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act summary. A road to stronger economic growth. Okay. Let's take a look at the table of contents. What is in here? We're going to take a quick look at the top line summary And we're going to skim through a couple of these other things. Just want to show you what's in here. Roads, bridges, major projects, passenger and freight rail. We have public transit, safety and research, airports, ports, waterways, broadband, especially for rural communities. Power infrastructure, Senate energy and natural resources, energy infrastructure, dam safety, tax credits. We got resiliency. We have cyber, wildfire management, ecosystems, drought, waste management, brick, flood mitigation, low, no carbon buses and ferries. Okay. State and tribal assistant for brownfields, remedial super fund, whatever that is. And then we've got an infrastructure framework, permitting provisions, and there it is at the bottom, cryptocurrencies. So this is going to be a lot of infrastructure for a lot of different things, as we can see here. Now, top line summary says what is happening here, the bullet points: no tax hikes on everyday Americans. So I don't know what that means, what everyday Americans means, but okay. So I guess they're going to tax the rich. So, okay. Historic investment in the nation's core infrastructure priority. So roads, bridges, all that stuff. Bipartisan Senate passed Drinking Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Act. Reauthorization bills. We've talked about water, right? I think water is going to be a big problem. I made a video on this channel about the water wars that are coming soon, I believe. Improves permitting by including enhancements on Fast 41, rural infrastructure, long-term spending for capital assets, and also it says, listen to this, long-term spending for capital assets that will improve economic efficiency, productivity, GDP, and revenue, and will not increase inflation. So long-term spending of money that we don't have by just essentially printing money and adding it to the money supply, that's going to be spent on improving economic efficiency and then not increase inflation. So this is like a magical money. I don't know where it comes from, but maybe a Harry Potter movie or something. I don't know. New spending is paid for with CBO, JTC scores, and OMB estimates, all that stuff. All right, what's in here? $550 billion over 5 years. Commerce, we have repair bridges, increase funding for competitive grants, passenger and freight rail, $66 billion here, more funding for freight rail, safety at high railway grade crossings. All right, $11 billion to fund highway and pedestrian safety programs. So for people crossing the street, $11 billion to make sure they get across, I guess, safely, including significant investment in a safe streets program that prevents death and serious injury on roads and streets. So probably like an educational course on looking both ways. Oh, there's a car. It's going to hit me. Don't cross it. Okay, $11 billion. That sounds good. Public transit, another $39 billion. What's that going to get? 24,000 buses, 5,000 rail cars, 200 stations. Broadband, especially for poor minorities in rural areas because they have a very difficult time, according to this administration, not to me, getting on the internet. So that'll be good. $65 billion to help them get online. That's good. Ports and waterways, $17.3 billion for more ports. Airports, another $25 billion so that you continue to not travel because of all the stupid restrictions. Water infrastructure, $55 billion. Power grid, $73 billion. Maybe we'll be able to keep the electricity on around the country. That'd be nice. Resiliency for cybersecurity, $46 billion. I just can't get over the numbers. I mean, it's like going to the grocery store, Oh, how much does that mean? Oh, $46 billion. Okay. Low carbon, zero emission schools and buses, $7.5 billion. Now, this stuff is interesting because AOC and Cori Bush, they are unhappy about this. They are not happy with this program entirely, which is strange because we have low carbon, zero emission stuff, and they're both very happy about that. So $15 billion for, I guess, 2 sets of buses and ferries, one that's going to be low carbon and zero emission, one that's going to be EV and low carbon. So we're going to have a lot of school buses that probably don't work, that are electric vehicles, low carbon, $15 billion going to who knows who to build these useless vehicles that will probably not do anything useful. All right, new spending, pay-fors, $250 billion for repurposing unused COVID relief dollars. So they just passed so much stinking money that the money is just being reallocated because they weren't thinking. Funding from recouping fraudulently paid for benefits, $49 billion from delaying Medicare Part D, $53 billion from states returning unused federal funds, $20 billion from future spectrum auctions, and on and on and on. Okay, where's the money coming from? So they're pulling it from other resources, it sounds like. Here is the last section. Cryptocurrencies, if you're investing in crypto, this new infrastructure bill is going to change some of the reporting rules. So you're going to have to comply now with reporting any transactions or digital assets that are over $10,000. Of course, this is not financial advice or legal advice, but you can see the bipartisan framework is going to apply information reporting requirements over to digital assets, including cryptocurrency. So you can see that there. Now, who is responsible for this? The usual suspects. Let's see what Republicans were on board. We got Mitt Romney, of course, he's always on these things. Senator Graham, of course. Susan Collins, squishy right in the middle of the road. Lisa Murkowski as well. Kyrsten Sinema, a little bit of a surprise. She's a Democrat, but she's in Arizona, and she was very unhappy with the $2.3 trillion bill, but she signed off on this one because it's kind of a discount. Senator Richard Burr, another Republican. Bill Cassidy, Republican. Jerry Moran, also here, Rob Portman, Tom Tillis, and the other sort of usual suspects, and Todd Young. Okay, so those are the Republicans. Now, you'll notice here that this crowd looks awfully Caucasian, doesn't it? Well, if you notice that, you're in good company, because AOC noticed that as well. She says, hey, good luck taking your own party's investment on childcare, idiots, climate action and infrastructure, while presuming you'll survive a 3-vote House margin, especially after choosing to exclude members of color from negotiations and calling that a bipartisan accomplishment. Uh-oh. Members of color were excluded from this whole thing. Bipartisan racial exclusion happening in Congress with the Democrats. It's their Congress. Wow. Very racist. Well, AOC's onto something. Says a lot of times bipartisan agreements are just defined by people in power who agree to exclude rather than include. Oh, man. It's a racist bill, clearly. We have this here from Cori Bush, also saying these Democrats are racist. Is this bipartisan infrastructure group the audience at a Kid Rock concert? Negotiations so white. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, folks, there you have it. Well, the Democrats are just racist. I can't. AOC said it. Cori Bush said it. I don't know what else to say about it. So, all right, let's take some questions over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com before we wrap up the show for the day. Let's see what we've got here. Let me cue some of these up over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Those are old questions. All right, here we go. The Congressional Mask War, says Prescott and Fan. So we're going to go over to the next one. We have Sweet Potato says, can the Supreme Court weigh in on masks, or can L&I require masks for all time? Well, I think the Supreme Court could certainly weigh in on it. You know, I don't know what their position on it would be. But they've already said you have to buy health care. They've already said that the government can basically force you to stay in your homes. So why can't they tell you to wear a mask at this point? I'm Not Gas says the eviction moratorium does nothing but benefit institutional investors. Mom and pop landlords do not have the capital and cannot secure the loans to keep their properties afloat, while they deal with non-paying tenants and are forced to foreclose or sell to bad actors like BlackRock. This is facilitating more wealth transfer from the middle class to the banks. From I'm Not Gas. Yeah, it is. And it's creating more people who are just going to be compliant. If the eviction moratorium is extended, is it ever going to end? Is it ever going to end? Literally. I don't know. Maybe not. We have another one here. Says, want to know, says, when is the free money going to run out to all the Democratic districts? Heard AOC is winning, wants more free money. Only negotiating was between AOC and Kamala. We have Sergeant Bob says, mass transit works in dense European cities. In most of America, not so much. Yeah, because we have an entirely different geographic country, don't we, Sergeant Bob? But they like to pretend that we don't, because they're not often thinking all that much. Okay, we have Lorenzo Greasy Bottoms is in the house, says, what's all this low carbon nonsense? Don't they know they're going to destroy each other before climate change ever has a chance to? I thought the world was over. Didn't Al Gore say we only had 10 years, like 12 years ago? I thought we were all supposed to be dead already, and we're not. I'm Not Gas says, AOC be like, I just called you all racist. Why won't you invite me to your parties anymore? Hashtag racist. Oh my gosh. She's an actual congressperson. We have Peely Wally says, hey, Rob, off topic. Just wanted to say I missed live streams on yesterday. Watched it back today. What a great stream it was. You always put on a great show. The illegal alien segment was unbelievable. I send all Americans my best wishes. Thank you, Peely Wally. I appreciate that, my friend. Thanks for watching it and for being a part of the show. Great comments. You know, I appreciate all the feedback. I have a ton of fun, and it's really rewarding to be able to spend time with you here together. And I'm not just saying that. I really mean it. I really do enjoy it. All right, we had another super chat come in. This one's coming in from Abby the Barber. It says, old question. Why are the Dems are pro-choice, life on abortion, but not on vaccine? How is it different? It's a good question. And, you know, this has been an interesting conversation because people will say, well, you have to get the vaccine. So, you know, your body is sort of your choice if you want to go and have an abortion. But your body is not your choice if you want to take a vaccine. And the argument has always been, well, because if you don't take the vaccine and you catch COVID, then you could be infecting somebody else, which might kill them. In other words, if you don't get vaccinated, you might kill another person. And that is wrong. And then they say, well, I'm just going to go get an abortion and just, you know, sort of take this fetus out of me and just get rid of it. And they don't see the equivalency there. And so it's a little bit confusing. And so I sort of agree with you on that one. So how is it different? One is, I guess, useful. Both of them are useful to them based on what they're trying to achieve. There's no logical consistency there, but that's okay. They don't need that. Lil Panda Cub sent over a little panda. Let's see if that pulls up. I don't think that it doesn't see the little panda, but I can see it, little Panda Cub. Thank you for sending that over. And that, my friends, I believe that's it for the day. Let's make sure that, we got one more coming in here from Hunter Biden. Going to wrap up the show from Hunter. Says, hey, Dad let me in on the new infrastructure deal, made me director. Love being the director of Burisma. Half the money spent, totally sent to your buddy's dad. So Hunter Biden's here. Hunter Biden's pretty excited about this infrastructure deal. I didn't see it in there, but there's probably a section in there that's going to be sending, I don't know, $45 billion over to whatever Hunter Biden's working on. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you, Hunter. Thanks, Hunter. I'm glad Hunter's here. Nancy Pelosi was here. We had many people part of the Biden administration here. And we had a couple other super chats just come in before we wrap up for the day. Says, from Adam McLean, says, can Arizona 5's congressman be recalled to flip the House? Can Arizona's 5 congressmen be recalled to flip the House? Oh, I see what you're saying. I can't really speak to that, honestly. I don't know what the recall rules are in Arizona. It's a great question. I understand what you're asking, and I think that the thought experiment is more fun. I don't know about the actual specifics about whether, they can be recalled or not, what those are, what the details are there. But in terms of a thought experiment, it's a good one. The idea would be that if the House of Representatives currently is controlled by the Democrats and there's a 5 congressperson margin, for example, I don't know that it is that, but if it is, and Arizona recalled the 5 Democratic congresspeople because, Arizona hypothetically found that there was a problem with the last election and maybe they didn't really win. So we go through a recall 5 of them. That's creates vacancies. They get replaced with Republicans. The balance of power in the House shifts. Now you sort of can go through an impeachment party bonanza. The Republicans can initiate impeachment proceedings against everybody else and go hog wild with that. Probably an unlikely development, but it's a fun thought experiment and kind of fun to play around with those things. I definitely like that. Let's see. Another one came in from Eddie Oliver. Says, do you think those members of the Bipartisan Commission were Nazis? Because if you're white, it seems you're either a racist or a Nazi. Sorry, I didn't make the rules. I just enforced them. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion. And, ordinarily, I wouldn't be somebody to jump in on that and say, yeah, they are racist Nazis, probably, really. But AOC confirmed it for us. Cori Bush confirmed it for us. So I like you, Eddie, I don't make the rules. Sometimes I have confusion about them because they're complicated and they're changing a lot and we're adding new pronouns and new alphabet letters and all sorts of stuff. It's very complicated. But I think they're probably, just to be safe, they're racist Nazis. You can be safe with that. Let's just combine the two. Let's stop mincing words, and we'll be good to go. And that was, I think, that was the last super chat. And we got a couple more. We're going to get through them. Jeremy says, Rob, super fund has to do with EPA. It's a fund used to clean up polluted land designated as a super fund. Okay, so I didn't know that. We have screw IRS Monero rules. I want the IRS to track transactions over $10,000 with Monero. So we got somebody who's pumping Monero here. I don't have any problem with that. That's all right. We have does Wide Awake says, does liking Kid Rock make you racist? And apparently, I don't know. Maybe it does. I guess maybe it does. I listened to Kid Rock as a kid. He had that one song. It was Hoppin'. How did it go? I forget. I can't remember. I'm not going to sing it here. All right. Great questions. Really appreciate all the love and the support. A lot of those came over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com, which is where there's a lively chat always taking place. And we are going to welcome a couple new members. Big welcome, big shout outs to Janoid. Janoid, great name. Absolutely love it. Janoid is now with the community. Thank you so much for signing up, Janoid. We have Sweet Potato is also in the program. Potato is in the house along with Jay Fizzle signed up. We got 3 new additions to the community. Also, big welcomes to CD Gorley, Truman HW, and Sif Thea, available over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. $5 a month, $50 annually. If you want to join up and support the show, we do appreciate it. And of course, we invite you to join us if you are a member over there, August 28th, 2021, from 7 to 8 p.m. for our next monthly meetup. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be our 4th one. Just having a blast. They're a lot of fun. Registration form is up and over there. A lot of other really good reasons to sign up over there. There's a free copy of my book. There are promo codes for a lot of my courses. And there's a lot of awesome people over there sharing links throughout the day. So we'd love to invite you to come check us out there. Before we wrap up, we'll give some shout outs over in the chat. Over on Locals, we've got Baranski, NY Renal MDs in the house, along with those two are talking right now predominantly. Who else is here? We've got Want to Know, Arnie B5. My chat is frozen. That's why I can't see anything. Oh, Soul Vikings in the house, and Joe Snow, Want to Know. We also on YouTube have Skull Cram. We have Ashley, Truth Hearts, K-Bean, Mad Peanut, Blake, Lauren S., Anthony Williams, and many others. Everybody, thank you so much for all of your support here today, both on Locals and with those great super chats on YouTube. Means the world. I appreciate you being here. Reminder to be back here tomorrow. Same place, same time, because we're going to do it all again. Forgot about that. We are going to do it again, but I'm not real sure if the time is going to be at the same time. I might have to push it back. I actually have to go to an event tomorrow unexpectedly. So I got to go there and I'm going to be racing back. It's about 3 hours both directions. So I'm going to be on the road early, skidding back in here. And so I might have to push the show back a little bit. I'm going to try not to, but if I do, that's the reason why. But as it stands currently, same place, same time. 4 p.m. Arizona time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And for that one Florida man, everybody else, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.